Now, Mr. Andy, the issue of state police. One of the concerns when state police debate came up was how will the states fund state police? How will they pay salaries? Do not forget, even the wage award, a lot of states have not been able to implement it fully. That's one. And even in certain states where these wage awards have not been implemented or implemented as the case may be, some governors are still owing salaries in arrears. Now, how will these governors, it's just like someone is carrying a heavy load and you're not putting a bag of rice on, and the person is staggering under the weight of a heavy load. And then you put a 50 kg rice on the person's head. Won't the neck break? Won't the person collapse?
No.
How do you think the governors will handle state police with the increased payment of salaries associated with it?
They increase the platform to carry the load. If you were carrying 50 kg on your neck alone, and someone wanted to add another 50 kg, it's wisdom to increase the platform and not put it on your neck. No, increase the platform. You see, so Nigerians are, have a very structured way of thinking. It's always going to be this way for Nigerians. There are ways you can increase the platform, and you'll be able to carry more bags of rice. I find this very nauseating that we are thinking like we are still in medieval times. A governor says we must increase revenue allocation. He's not thinking in the right way that he should be thinking. Why? What's wrong with thinking that we must go back to real and true federalism as against adjusting revenue allocation? Because if the governors really and truly understand that resources that are generated, that are domiciled within their terrain, can be harnessed by them, can be used by them, they will not be thinking federal government all the time. This, for me, is rather tokenistic, miniature, and self-constraining. That you think that until you go to touch that, all you should be thinking about right now is that, Mr. President, please, state police, community policing is what is necessary to combat the challenges that we are currently having. However, we must revisit, not revenue allocation, we must revisit the question of federalism. How that states can own and pay a certain percentage to the center of what is domiciled within their territory, so that they can take charge fully of everything within the state, including those things you call federal roads. Nothing is as annoying as that. I'm passing a road and the road is completely broken down, and you find state governors saying, I'm helpless. It's a state road, it's a federal road, so there's nothing I can do about it. A federal road in your house, a federal road that your people are passing, is it the federal government that is passing it? There are too many aberrations in the Nigerian state that some of these governors, I do not understand whether they even understand how to begin to solve our problems. This, for me, when I saw it, when I read it, I understood why Nigeria is what it is today, because we are not thinking out of the box, as it were. We are constrained by the box a lot of times. Nigerians, their politicians, leaders, journalists alike, we are constrained by the things within the box that all Nigerians right now are thinking, oh, somebody has spoken wisdom by saying, oh, let us increase the revenue allocation formula. Who says that it's not an aberration as it's currently being structured, that the federal government should be taking 58%? When in a state, in Nasarawa state and in the different states, you have mineral resources. You have several resources that if you looked at, you'll be able to pay ×3 of the current police force that the federal government is paying. If you looked at it very well, if you properly worked on it and harnessed it, see what is happening in the north. We are having foreigners come to take monies from resources that are domiciled within our territory. We are giving them licenses and they are taking our monies, our limestone, our different resources. They are taking them away. The federal government is simply quiet. The federal government cannot go fix those things because those things are limited within certain states. They should simply come back to the constitution and say federalism is the way to go, like you see everywhere else. Why do you think you can have state police, county police in America? Because there is what is called, and I hate the word true federalism. There is no such thing like true federalism, but for the sake of context, why can we not have true federalism such that every state indeed can begin to look inward and see how they can indeed fund the policing?
All right. So what's your take on this?
Yes, Governor of Nasarawa calling on the federal government to increase whatever revenue they get from the federal allocation. To me, I think it's a laughable situation. Very laughable in the sense that, just like Andy posited, that the governors are not thinking out of the box. It's so shameful when we hear governors only constrain themselves to what comes from Abuja. So shameful. And I think